Hey y'all, welcome back. Kevin Smith here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee with Tesla FSD Beta 11.3.3. We have a nice little drive across town today, testing some layouts and overlays and just seeing how things do, as well as how the car performs with version 11. This is our first build with version 11. Before this we were on 10.69, and version 11 is pretty nice. Some huge steps forward. There are quite a few rough kind of edges and regressions that we've seen. But largely the drives are really enjoyable, really smooth, especially on the highway. The lane changes are ridiculously good compared to the Nav on Autopilot lane changes. It's been pretty enjoyable to test so far. Had it for a few days. There is a newer build, the 11.3.4 and 11.3.5, but we don't have those yet. So we're looking at 11.3.3, which should be largely the same while we wait on another update. So far, a nice smooth drive across Murfreesboro. No issues on the east side. We're currently heading towards Church Street so we can hop on the interstate for the west side. Coming up, I'm forced to disengage. The car does not slow down at all for these railroad tracks, which are on a pretty rough incline from the road, and so you really do need to slow down there. It's quite rough if you don't, and so even with my slowdown, it was still pretty rough, but at full speed that would have been pretty unenjoyable for the occupants. Hopefully they'll get those marked with some of the new map data that Green shared with us, that they're able to return from their map services to inform the guide on the route. Here we have kind of a uncomfortable lane change right there. It was moving into the left lane and then jerked back to the right. I almost disengaged, but I didn't. It was fine. It didn't really impact anybody, but definitely was uncomfortable. And it was just a late decision knowing it had this upcoming right-hand turn onto the interstate. So it was the right choice to be in the right lane, but it either needed to make that ahead of time or commit to the lane change that it was already most of the way through. Aborting the lane change midway through and jerking back into the other lane just because you change your lane selection was pretty uncomfortable for the occupants. So here we have our first highway segment of Beta 11. Nice and smooth, no issues. The lane changes are awesome. It does wait pretty late to go back into the exit lane. I would have moved over much sooner, like here when it's wide open. That car there was behind us and went around us to the right and cut through back in front of that truck. It was a really ugly human pilot maneuver to do, but there's another car that passed us before getting out of the exit lane. We just waited really late in the exit lane. Not a problem at all. Didn't disengage because there's no problem with it. Here, however, there is a problem. When it goes to this light, there is a turn-only lane to go back onto the interstate in the other direction, and instead of going into the straight-through lane that it should be selecting, it goes into the turn-only lane. Looking at the screen after the fact, you can see that it was deciding probably it needed to move back over, but in real time, that was the wrong move to make, and the car behind me was about to take that lane instead of us, so we needed to get over. So I was forced to disengage. The rest of the ride is nice and smooth, pretty short. There were 2 disengagements and the 1 uncomfortable lane reassignment that we discussed before. Other than that, really nice, smooth drive. Really loving Beta 11. Version 11.3.3 is what we have, and it's been pretty great. It does do stupid things still. It does come up to a left turn and all of a sudden decide we need to go in the right-hand lane, those kind of things. But now we can disengage and provide a voice note. It's been pretty great. We'll see y'all next time. Like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.